Righto team, so I told you from ongoing adventures. Whilst I was doing my intercool on my car, and I was playing with my bullbar as it's off, I found out the winch on my bullbar has a bit of a seized drum out going on at the moment. So that's no good, especially if I'm going to go on a trip real soon. I love having a good operational winch. Lucky enough, my friends from OpenRoad Australia have just sent me out the new winch. So we're going to unpack this and take off the old winch from the bullbar. So I'm going to be very rangy going on. I'm going to put the bullbar back in front of the car again, take the old winch off, and then we're going to open this bad boy up and let's get cracking installing this big girl onto the new the new winch onto my bullbar and slap that bullbar back onto the patrol and let's get cracking. So we'll do a quick install video. We'll do this and then hopefully in the next coming weeks we might go for a camp or just a day of forward driving and test this big girl out and see how well she runs. So stay tuned. I'm going to get busy real quick, get 100 miles an hour, take this old winch off, and then put this big girl back on. Todd, ongoing adventures with the OpenRoad winch. Let's get cracking. Righto guys, so now I've got the bullbar prepped, which is in front of me, ready to go. I have brought the gear out of the box so we can show you from OpenRoad Australia. This is the new winch I'm testing out, the boys have sent me. Looks fantastic so far. I've got a few nice little nicks and bits and pieces. This is the 13,500 lbs, I think it is, or in tons, it's 6.75 tons. So that's a massive amount. 6.75 tons. That's a pretty cool amount, really, at the end of the day, or the 13,500 lbs. In Australia here, we use tons a lot, so it's good to know that this is basically almost a 7-ton winch. Especially with having the big girl, the patrol, and if I'm telling the camper, this should handle the job, no worries. So let's go through some of the stuff that we have in the kit, in the box that it comes with. Now, the first thing I want to start is I've got a hat. So, I love my hats, so now I have an OpenRoad four-wheel drive new hat I can start wearing as I go out, so I'll leave that there for now. And then we've got our main winch ready to go with the brake housing and the control housing and the wire and the control box mounted on top so far. Now this has all your cables pretty much ready to go, but one, it does supply with an earth ground cable which will go to your negative terminal on your battery. So this one here we do have to bolt on the bottom of the winch here. There'll be another earth plug just here which has a little cable already on it. We basically run it to that, hook her up, and then we'll run it into our bonnet where the battery is and terminate it that way. That's the only one that we've got to hook on when it comes to wiring up wires. The rest is already wired up, and then you just got to run the positive cable to your battery, to your positive terminal, which is already hooked up onto your winch. We've just got to run it through the car, ready to go. Once this is on the bullbar and the bullbar's back on, we'll climb underneath and start running some cables. So that's that, ready to go. Then what it also comes with is your faceplate OpenRoad winch mount ready to go. It comes with a variety of bolts, so your mounting bolts, and it also has 2 bolts that generally go on your faceplate, the nice little stainless steel pretty ones. I won't be needing these purely because the way my bullbar is set up, the winch mounts to the bullbar itself. So I'll probably just using the mounting bolts holding the faceplate at the same time. But there are other bullbars there where, like my old car, it had a winch cradle. This will mount to the cradle, you use all your mounting bolts, and then you'll use your nice stainless steel bolts to hold your winch plate on. But not for this one. I've got a front mount bullbar hook on winch, so we'll go with that. Comes with your standard winch hook. Nice little setup, ready to go. And it also has your little rope cable too that you can hook onto, and it'll always be there so you can tug on it if you need to. It comes with 2 wireless controllers, which is sick because I'm always losing stuff, so it's good to have a backup controller, especially if one dies with a battery and you primarily use these. So I'll get back to this real soon. So 2 wireless controllers, and then it has your hard cable winch controller, which in the past I've always used these. I've generally always trusted these more because of the hard connection there to your winch. But in saying that, over the last probably year or two, I've been relying and using a lot more of the actual wireless controller just because they're ready to go and they just sit in your little box. You just hold that button down, the power button down, wait for the signal to come on, and then start cracking away. So, but always keep this in your car just in case, because once again, if you lose a controller or your other one goes flat, whatever it may be, even though we've got 2, you always have your hardcore wire out one ready to go in your car, hidden somewhere in a nice little box. From there, we do have our installation manual. It shows you variances, like how it's all done, what it comes with, all the technical googly stuff that if you want to read, you can. I generally don't always read this because I have done a lot of winches in the past and installing wise, so I'm pretty good familiar with this, but it is good to have a quick flick over, make sure what you're doing is correct and right. And then gives you a nice little warning sticker to slap on somewhere, ready to go, and the OpenRoad sticker, which I'll probably put on the side of my car real soon. So that's pretty much what comes in the box, guys. It looks pretty sexy so far. It looks pretty good. I can see it's all nice hardened gearing. It's got a good brake housing. It's got a good release mechanism. The winch rope's ready to go. Nice pathetic rope. The only thing I can really do now is work out exactly how mine's going to mount. Again, because since mine's a Bullbar mounted winch module, it will be facing that way from the Bullbar. And then I'll basically be hooking up the earth cable on the bottom of it, ready to go, let it hang down, and we'll go from there. So, yep, the goal is from now is basically hook up my OpenRoad winch to the Bullbar, get everything laid out, ready to go, nice and happy days, and then I'll proceed on getting the Bullbar fitted back onto the car, which I've got a mate coming around this afternoon to give me a hand with that. Could be no way in hell I can do it by myself. And then from that's on the car, make sure the control box will be happy sitting in there. If I need to move it, I will move it to the side or to the front. We'll see how we go having everything, because I do have a new intercooler on my car now that might interchange with how the control box sits, but we'll see how that goes. So, hook up earth cable, hook it onto the Bullbar, happy days, get ready from there. Once the Bullbar's back on the car, then we'll run the cables and we'll get cracking from there. But so far it looks sexy. This is an OpenRoad Australia winch. Now, if you do guys want to get this sort of gear that I'm now starting using, we do have a discount code for our channel for you guys to go onto their website and buy some of their stuff. It is called OGA23. I'll stick that above me. So OGA23 is our discount code for 10% off that you guys can buy with that code on their website. So I'll put their website in the description down below as well with that discount code and the link directly to this winch as well. So let's get cracking, guys. I'm going to spin the old camera around, point it at the Bullbar, and get this bad boy fitted. Righto, guys. So I've got my Bullbar here. Yes, it is on milk crates. Not the best thing in the world to actually do normally, but it is me, Dodgy Todd's, on his garage. The bracket actually fell through the milk crate. I've just tied them together, and it is actually super stable, which is fine, and happy days, and it's a good working height for me. And the way the plate here sits here with this milk crate, I can actually just slip the winch straight on. But what we are going to do is hook up our earth cable that's going to go to the earth terminal to our earth plug here on the winch. So it's going to unscrew this here real quick. Yep, nothing looks like it's going to come loose there. Happy days. And then now I'm going to just simply run my earth cable across here, just like that. Now, what I generally also like to do, which I'll just do now as well to show you, it'll be easier with the nut off, because it is me and I don't like stuff falling apart or falling away, I'll add a tiny little doot of Loctite on here as well. That's purely because I go on a lot of corrugation roads and I don't want stuff to rattle apart. So I'm just going to add a little doot of Loctite on there, do this bad boy up, and then we'll get cracking from there. Now obviously do all this stuff before you hook it up to the car and before you have any live power going through. So that's happy days on that. And now because I've got it here ready to go, what I can actually do too to help secure some of the cabling, and something I always like to do as well, I'll grab a zip tie out from behind me just to help secure some of these cables just a little bit more. I'll quickly go through now. So which way is this going to go? This is going to sit that way. I'm going to want to run the cables out. So I'm going to want to go with my cables. Yeah, something like that. So I'm just pre-planning what I was just doing. It's just pre-planning how I want to zip tie this up. Because I'm going to turn this around, slip this onto here, and then run the cables out this way to my Bullbar. So what I do, I just grab a zip tie. You don't have to do this. It's just something that I do. And it just helps secure these wires up inside of here, and just less stuff to wiggle around and move on you as well. So happy days from there. And I always like to cut my zip ties on an angle flush there so I cannot have any Sharpies. I'm not going to cut my fingers up later on. So, now I've got that prepped ready to go, a little doodle of Loctite onto there. I can now flip her around and get her ready to holster on to the bull bar. So lucky enough for me, because I am doing all this by myself, the height of this works out to be roughly near the same height as up to here. Now, what we're going to want to grab are these little square looking bolts, which will give you a bit of an easier touch up. And these bad boys are used on our mounting bolts, but these actually slide into the nice square grooves into here. So they just slide into there ready to go. So there'll be 4 of those. Now, another note when doing this as well, which I've noticed on the winch I had before, because I haven't actually happened to use that winch yet, I was bought from the previous owners. Make sure your cable sitting up here is actually running on the top half, in and out this way. What's happened, and I've seen it before, people basically put the winch the other way around, so the cable's coming from underneath and then trying to loop out. One, this will actually catch caught on the bracket. It's going to want to pull the bracket down and the bull bar down against your winch, and your winch is not actually operating the way it should, and you're just simply going to do damage. You're not pulling forwards and backwards to what you need from your winch when you're trying to climb or move stuff. You're actually the winch is trying to pull something down and rip parts away. So make sure when you do this, your cable is running true up and out to where the actual winch plate will be on the front side. So now we've got this all prepped and ready to go to be mounted onto the bull bar. We're going to swing around to the front half of the bull bar now, look in this way, and get ready these bits to start bolting up. So let's get cracking on from there. Okay, so we're at the front of the bull bar here. Mine has a flip number plate, the hide the winch sort of thing, and I just basically now just got to flip it up. I have my OpenRoad winch faceplate ready to go. I've got my bolts, and again, because I've got a lot of corrugation and I don't want stuff to rattle apart, we're going to add a little doot of Loctite again when we bolt these bad boys up. So I can see, lucky enough, in here these are lined up. Now, lucky for me, this happens to be the right height for me to go straight away, but normally what you need is have a mate or have like another bench or a lifter on the other side and just float it up and down and get the first 2 in ready to go from then onwards. Now we have sliding our bolts in behind here, so we're just going to add ready to go. Once again, what I'm going to do is just put the first one in to get it ready and make sure I do have it lined up. Do any adjustments that I may need to do. So what I've done, I had my top lined up. I've just mounted the 2 bottom ones ready to go. They're now actually hard in. Now I've got my faceplate, winch faceplate ready to go. I've got my bolts in ready to go. I'm just going to add some more Loctite to these as well, because once again, I don't like stuff rattling apart on me when I really don't need them to. Because I've had something very similar happen to me before. So, now generally when I say a little doot of Loctite, it usually means a lot for me, because I definitely overkill when it comes to using Loctite, because I really don't like stuff falling apart. But, in saying that, you do have spring washers, and it wouldn't hurt to add a little bit of Loctite if you guys want to. I just have a tendency of overkilling it and putting a lot on there all the time. So let's just slap this one now on as well. Now for reference as well, when bolting these up, these bolts are a 16mm bolt for a socket. So we're going to get ready. I'm just going to wind these ones in with my fingers, and then we'll crank her up with the ratchet straight after. There we go. And now just crank her in. Okay, that bad boy is not coming off. Now, with these, you can probably look up torque settings if you guys want to. I just know I'm pretty good at my own strength, knowing how tight this should be. Now this is realistically now the winch itself now bolted on, ready to go. So we can actually remove the bottom of the middle milk crates. It should be just purely sitting on the bull bar now. And then we'll start looking at running the cord through and getting it ready to go. And once that's in and ready to go, this thing will be ready to be put onto the back onto the car and start wiring up. So happy days. We'll get cracking from there. So I'm gonna get behind real quick, cut this away, cut the zip tie on this cord, feed it through here, and then start putting the hooks and everything on, so I can start getting operational ready for use. So what I've gone and done, I've just released this from the winch. It was zip tied to the front of it. Now we've got to, again, like I said, make sure that it's feeding from the top half and going out. So when we're pulling back in, it's actually pulling in from the top half, pulling out its max strength from the winch and pulling straight back on the spooler loop on the barrel. If you go the other way, you could do a lot of damage to your bull bar and your winch in your car. So always make sure the cord is coming from the top. Now we've got this part ready. We're going to feed it through out here where the faceplate is, just like that. And then I can get ready to put the hook and bits and pieces on. So what I can actually do is release the handbrake for the winch, so I can actually pull some more rope out so I have a bit more room at the front to work with. Just like so, I can even loop it around if I wanted to. So now I can just re-engage that, pull up tight again so it locks in as it does, and now I've got some ready to go to work from the front base. Once we get the hook and bits and pieces onto here, we should be ready to go to bolt this bad boy back onto the car and get operational and start having some fun out in the tracks. Okay, so I've got my hook and my little flare strap. So at the moment what we want to do, there's actually a little split pin just in here. We're going to just quickly pull that out because that holds in the actual locking pin for the winch for the hold the kinetic rope on. So we're going to just pull that back out, and then we can get our pin out, and then we're going to go back to the rope and slide her in. So we're back here now, and what we're going to do is just as simply as go through, slide that into there. So we've got our ring here from our winch, we got our hook, we're going to slide that into there, grab our pin, push our pin through, and at the same time what you guys can do is run this bit of rope through the actual thing at the same time. So I'm going to just quickly do it by hand, or both hands. Whoop. Go through, just like that. That's one way of doing it. There is different ways of actually tying this on, or how you guys want to tie it on. That's just one way of doing it, how I've normally done it. And you go through, put your pin in, and you just bend the pin around so it can't simply fall out. And you bend the other side if you want to, and then what you do is just tap them down, make sure they're nice and flush so they don't stick out bits and pieces, and then that's your hook and your strap ready to go. Now when this is back on the car, I'll actually engage the winch and feed this back in. I'll have this hook under here, happy days, ready to go from then onwards. So now our front half is basically completed, ready to go from there. We've got our faceplate on, the winch is bolted on, our cords are ready to go. The next step is just to simply bolt the bull bar back onto the car and then wire up the winch, and then from there, happy days, and then try and get out the tracks and test her out. So let's get cracking from there. So glad this is so light. I hope you laugh. Holy crap, fuck that. Righto guys, I know it's getting a bit late. Cause I just needed a hand to put the bull bar actually back onto the car, and I wasn't able to get a mate of mine to come out until a bit later, which was all good. We've finally got the bull bar back onto the car, all bolted down and tied up. Happy days for that. And I'm basically just now going to just quickly tie everything up, run everything that I can run, and then we'll go from there. And basically all I have to do is just run my positive and negative terminal wire from the winch up into here and bolt her on, and then happy days for that. And then tomorrow we'll actually pull her out and test it real quick, and we'll just go from there. So stay tuned. I'm going to quickly just wire this up. So all I have to do is just simply again is run it up through the grill here, inside to here, put my positive on first, and then my negative. Now, what I will do later on, I'm actually going to make a control panel here, and I will get an isolation switch for it properly, but for right now I don't have it. And for the purpose of trying to get it tested, we're going to just slap it straight on hard, and then later on we'll put an isolation switch in. But stay tuned, we'll get cracking on for you. Righto guys, Toddy real quick from Ongoing Adventures again. We have just finished doing the install video on the Patrol yesterday for the new ongoing winch we're going to use. It's the OpenRoad Australia 6.75 tonne winch, which is a 13,500 pound winch, what do you call it? Now, what's happened, we had a fair bit of rain last night come down, and I've driven down the front of my yard and I got a bit stuck towards the end here, and I was able to get it straight again. So what a perfect opportunity to use the new winch on the tree at front here, and we'll just quickly winch myself up a bit onto the hard stuff and drive back out. So perfect way to end this video by using the winch in the end of the video, the install video, so you guys can actually see how it runs, how it pulls me out easily, and we'll get cracking from this. I'm going to hook her up to my tree trunk grabber on the winch on the tree I've got the front up here. So I've already disengaged the handbrake mechanism on the winch, so I can freely spool the winch out while walking it out. Righto, so now I've gone through, I've hooked up my winch to the tree trunk grabber to the tree I want. Now it's always best to use a dampener on your winch rope, so if something does ever go wrong, something shouldn't go wrong, but something ever does go wrong, you've got a dampener here ready to go, so if the rope snaps, it will catch it. So now the trick with the dampener is, wherever you put the dampener, that's where hopefully the bend point will be. So you want it roughly in the middle, and that will be half the snap load of the rope. So if the rope does snap, technically only this much will fly that way, or that much will fly this way. More dampeners you put on, the safer it will be. If you're doing a massive winch, I usually try and do at least 2 to 3 dampeners. Short winch, just 1 dampener is usually pretty fine. If you're running a pulley back and forwards, 100% guys, use more dampeners. It doesn't have to be an actual dedicated dampener pad. Use your towels, use your like if you've got big trackies, use something that's got a bit of weight in it that you can wrap around it and it's got to stay there. Right guys, now normally I would sit in the car and do this, but I actually want to see for myself how it actually runs and works. So I'm going to stand on the outside, use my wireless controller, and be on the side and watch it slowly winch up. So I'm now going to start my car up. Now I do have a RPM throttle controller, so I better put up my revs 2 out of 1,000 revs, because you want to sit these things around that 900 to 1,000 revs when you're running the winch, so the battery keeps charged whilst you're running your winch, because winches do use a lot of juice. Now this is a 12-ounce winch. Let's get cracking. I'm going to start the car up, I'm going to take some of the weight off, and then I'm going to slowly start winching up. Now guys, because I am technically doing a self-recovery, I've still got my handbrake on, I have my car now idling and running, I've got the revs up. Now the cool thing is, because I've got my wireless remote, I can just simply turn on my winch remote, have it ready, and I just want to slowly bring up the winch, get rid of this tension that's on here. What I haven't done is actually lock the winch back in. There we go. Now the winch is locked back in the mechanism. Just better just pull it up. Take this tension off. Just like that. Now, when operating a winch, you should generally only use 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. What that means is, when you're running your winch, run it for about 30 seconds, stop for 30 seconds. It allows the winch to cool down, the braking mechanism to cool down, the drum to cool down. And you can always, if you have to, always check or reposition you need to. So 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off is generally a good safety rule. So I'm just going to quickly jump in, see if I can take some more of the slack, and take the handbrake off slowly. So now handbrake's now off, and this is purely now just a winch. As you can see, it's running perfectly fine, and it's pulling my cart with ease. Now, I am not helping the winch at all whatsoever in this. Like right now, I've just stopped. I'll hop out of the car. At the moment, handbrake's off. It is in neutral. Revs are up. I just want to show you guys that I am not assisting in this winch by driving. Now, due to safety, I'm not going to stand right here where the rope is. I shouldn't really be standing here right now as is, unless I take some slack off. But I'm going to step to the side and show you that I'm not even in the car whilst it's winching on its own. So the car's now free spooling on its own while I'm out winching it up while I can watch my self-recovery. Now when doing this, it is good to have a second mate on a big scale winching, because usually you go forward driving your mates. You'll have someone somewhere out the sides watching your car, what's happening, what needs to be moved. Like I said, generally it's a 30-second on, 30-second off. I'll cut it short there. And the good part, if you do have a mate, you get them to come up and reposition your dampener if need be. Again, if you have two, it's good to spread them out a little bit. But another good exercise, we'll just keep cracking. So I've done my 30 seconds on, I'm just going for 30 seconds off. What I want to show is see how far these little winch controllers can operate away from the winch. So I'm pretty interested to see the distance on these things. So I still got my camera up, it's filming, where is it there? Filming the car actually getting winched up, so we can see it getting winched at the same time as I'm compressing control. So there is no funny business, there's no one in the car. I'm here by myself. We're going to quickly just change up my dampener real quick. Put that back to roughly center. Now, so right now I am about, say, where am I? 3 meters from the car. Still operating. Let's go up a bit more, eh? So I am now roughly where the tree is, and it's probably 5 meters away from the car. Still operating. Let's go a bit further now, eh? So, coming away from the car, I'm probably now a good 15 meters. Still operating the car. That's pretty impressive. So if you are in a very bad spot, say you're hanging off an edge, or you're in a really spot you really don't want to be in the car whilst you're winching for safety reasons, because you know something might happen, you can simply step away from the car and winch away from the car until it gets up from a safe distance if you want to do like a no-man winch in the car itself. So I am now probably about 20 meters away. And it's still operating. Oh my God, this is sick. Let's go a bit further because I'm running out of winch rope. I can always release the car back down if I have to, but let's go heaps further. Let's go a good distance. Where am I? So this is now probably, for me, 40 meters. Still operating. That is awesome. Let's go further then. We're gonna find out how far I can go. That's the goal. I'm gonna run out of road. I'm gonna be on the freaking road soon. So I'm now on my driveway. No, let's go really. Let's try here. We'll try here. What's this? This is probably 70 meters ish. Still operating. You can hear it. It is still running. Oh my God, this is sick. So let's go even further. Now we're going on the other side of the hill where my car is. I can't even see my car now. This will be a listening thing. So we're down the bottom of my driveway and we'll try it down all the way down here. Let's see how this goes. It's still, guys, like I'm pressing it and I can hear it operating. That probably 100 meters, roughly. Maybe a bit under. It's probably more like 90 meters. Okay, this is impressive. Like I'm amazed. We're gonna go the back of my yard where it's much further, near the very tip of my yard, in the back end. You know, obviously, I can hear the car running, and I can only barely hear the winch when I was walking up. I was doing a little quick test. I'm puffed out. Let's see if this will work. Once I don't know exactly how far this is, what I'll do, I'll go on the Google Earth. I'll actually measure it on Google Earth where my car is to the corner of my yard. But let's see if we can hear it. I can hear it running, guys. That is impressive. This has some really awesome distance. Like, I mean, really awesome distance. I'm now gonna go back to the car. I'll meet you down there. So it might be a bit noisy because I've got the car behind me, but that was pretty amazing. So I've gone from one corner of my yard to the other corner of my yard, and that's a pretty good distance. So we didn't actually test on how far the controller can work because I simply basically ran out of space on my property. You know, without walking on the road and going down the road, but by that point I wouldn't be able to hear my car, I wouldn't be able to hear the winch operator. So that might be something I've come back to at a later date when I've got someone with me, because I'm here by myself, to stand at the car to watch the winch as I slowly walk away. We might, on one of the episodes later on, get a bit more of a definite answer on how far these things can operate with a wireless winch remote. But that is pretty awesome. So all I'm going to do at the moment, I'm going to lower my car back down a little bit because I've actually come a bit too close, and I'm going to drive up to my left. There you go, guys. That is the basic operating of a winch, of the OpenRoad Australia winch. Go to their link, go check them out. We do have a discount code for our channel for their stuff. It's OGO23. Again, I'll chuck it above me. I'll have that also in the descriptions. Guys, for a first impression so far, it's done well, especially the wireless remote. That is fantastic. Now for Australian measurements, again, it is 6.75 tons worth of pulling. Now remember, if you guys get pulleys, you can also increase that pulling power. At the moment, this is just a simple recovery with a single line on my tree to get me back out of the front where I got stuck. So guys, this is Todd from Ongoing Adventures. Thanks for watching this install. Thanks for watching this small demonstration. We're going to get cracking out in the adventures more. We're going to go hit some tracks up hopefully soon, and also have our adventure at Morton Island where we may or may not be able to use the winch depending on how easily it gets stuck. So guys, I'll see you guys out in the truck. Let's get cracking.